Hey everyone from the Voando Comigo channel, Romulo speaking. Guys, for this video, you'll need to enable subtitles, okay? So turn on the subtitles here on YouTube. I'll wait for you to enable them so you can understand. So, we're going to talk to Hector, who is the founder of Rotor technology. That's the helicopter I showed you guys, the R550. So he was the one who invented it, and he's going to explain what the purpose is. When this helicopter will arrive in Brazil, anyway, enable the subtitles there. On YouTube, there's a little option for you to go to subtitles. To turn on enable subtitles. Translated, okay? So, enable it and watch the video. Also, leave your like there. You know, that's it. Awesome. Now let's go to the United States. And today, look, the pleasure is with Hector. João, who is the chief pilot of the company. So, I'm going to ask them two questions here. Actually, for Hector. João will also be here on the side to help translate. In case I can't speak my wonderful English, if I can't explain it here, if I can't make him understand. Okay, so I'm going to ask two questions, and you will have the pleasure of having Hector here on the Flying With Me channel. It's the same thing. I'll just give an example. It's the same thing as if I were talking to the founder of Tesla. What's his name again? Hey, João. Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
But from Rotor technology, okay, this guy here is the one who had the idea to create this wonderful project that's soon going to be in Brazil. So I'm going to ask him two questions. Guys, I'm going to ask him how he came up with the idea to create a helicopter, you know, one without a pilot, okay? Hey, no pilot, João. With the pilot outside the cabin, the pilot is still there. Correct that. What? Made you come up with the idea of creating a helicopter where the pilot is not on board?
Do you understand? Yeah. So there's a funny story. So you probably know that I learned to fly helicopters with this guy. So Joel was my first flight instructor, and obviously he did such a lousy job. I decided there are no more pilots from now on. No, Joao was a fantastic flight instructor. He's probably still the only person that I'm happy to fly with nowadays. And I learned a lot about the helicopter industry. So I'm an aerospace engineer by training, and I studied at MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where I worked on drones, where we built advanced concepts for ion-propelled airplanes with no one on board drones. And so I think I came into it, but I really love helicopters. I wanted to learn to fly helicopters. And I came into kind of learning to fly as a pilot with a lot of understanding about autonomy and the capability of autonomous technology to really change the industry. And I think, you know, when you fly in a Robinson R22, you know, anyone who's flown in a Robinson knows that many of the technologies that are now available are not always available to pilots of light helicopters. And I think we started Rotor because we wanted to bring that to light helicopters. I think not to replace pilots, but to help people be able to use these tools for dull, dirty, and dangerous missions in safer and more capable ways. So the reason that we started with agriculture is because every year in the US, there's tens of fatalities in agriculture. And there's really no reason that pilots need to be flying on board agricultural airplanes or helicopters anymore. We're seeing that the small electric drones made by companies like DJI and XAG, and they have very, very high levels of autonomy. They are really great products, but they're not big enough. They're too small. So if you have any more than 10 or 20 acres that you want to cover, it's very, very difficult. And so what we're bringing to market, the R550 AG, which is based on the Sprayhawk, which is based on the Robinson R44, is 20 times bigger than a DJI drone and can cover 15 to 20 times the area in the same amount of time. It's powered by a gas engine, so you don't need to recharge the batteries. And we're bringing the same autonomy technology to these missions with helicopters. And I think it's the future. I really think this will be transformative for many, many use cases, whether it's for helicopters today or for drones today. That, you know, in the future, that unmanned Robinsons and unmanned large aircraft in general will be a very, very important part of the industry and economy.
Very nice. And what do you think was our biggest challenge since we started Rotor?
I think in the beginning, starting anything is very hard. So I think there were lots of long, long days and long nights, right? We were working in a small hangar trying to build the technology from scratch because no one has ever done something like this before, right? This is very novel. And so we had to learn a lot of lessons ourselves. I think today things are very different. I think the technology is more and more mature. We're very confident in our capabilities. I think there are two really big challenges that we face today. One, I think, is to meet the requirements for certification because this is a very new type of technology. No one has ever certified a drone that weighs 2,500 pounds before. And so it's always a challenge to work with the regulators and build the case and say, hey, we're trying to do this thing that's extremely safe at low altitudes over unpopulated areas. We should be able to do this, and we have built the technology. The technology is reliable for this. And I think one of the great regulatory breakthroughs that we recently had was with the Brazilian regulators, who understood this very quickly, because for them, agricultural drones are more and more commonplace today and something that they believe is a very important part of their economy and industry. So I think, we're starting to see this certification challenge slowly change. And now that we have Brazil, I know we're working with regulators in other places in South America, all over the world, to start receiving commercial approvals elsewhere. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I think I see a lot of hope and excitement for the next few years. I think the second challenge we have is how do we build the manufacturing to meet the demand for these aircraft? We are a pretty small company. This is our third year of operation, about to go into our fourth year of operation. We have about 35 to 40 employees, most of whom are aerospace engineers or software engineers who write software, work on autonomy, and do testing. And so we are not really a manufacturing company today. So we have a big challenge in the next 12 months. How do we begin manufacturing a large number of Robinsons? And I think one of the solutions that we have, one, is to offer retrofit capabilities so we can take an existing Robinson and convert it into a drone. And obviously that conversion takes a lot less work to do than manufacturing. And so it's also something that potentially can be done by service centers and maintenance facilities. For example, in Brazil, a Brazilian service center will be able to do the retrofit conversion. We will provide them with the components, the kit, and the instructions, and they will be able to do the modification. So I think that's a big part of how to solve a manufacturing problem for us. And then in the long run, of course, it is to work with Robinson. For anyone who hasn't visited the Robinson factory in Torrance, California, they should. It's a great wonder of the modern technological world. A helicopter, sheet metal is turned into a helicopter throughout from one end of the factory to the other end of the factory. It's a fantastic factory, and we're really, really excited to work with Robinson to build new unmanned Robinsons like the R550 and potentially other models in the future straight from their factory. And that way, it will allow us to very, very quickly scale up the number of aircraft that we can deliver to the market.
And Hector was amazing. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm very happy to stay here. This day was amazing. Thank you very much.
Okay? Yeah, thank you. You come back anytime. Yeah, please, please.
Thank you very much, man.
Thank you. Okay, that's it.
It's a pleasure for me to have Hector and you on the channel Voando Comigo. And soon I know both of you will be there in Brazil, and we'll make a video there in Brazil too. We'll meet in Brazil, and I know this machine will be a success.
God willing, thank you for the visit and come back more often.
I'll see you in Brazil, right?
See you in Brazil.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm extremely satisfied, extremely happy to be here at Rotor Technology. It was a unique opportunity. And I was really happy with the company's invitation to be here. Spending the week with them, getting to know them, having new experiences, exchanging ideas, seeing how the development of a machine like this works, right? I arrived here with an idea of what it was like. R44 with some modifications. No, it's R44 with several modifications, several improvements, okay? And the helicopter simply doesn't have a pilot on board. The pilot stays outside the aircraft. That's fantastic. Why is that fantastic? First, you increase safety. By taking the human out of there, you increase safety in case something happens. If there's an accident, there's no human on board. Just by being this way, it's already worth every cent invested in this company, okay? So another thing, you create a new segment in aviation, right? It's not that you're going to exclude the pilot. On the contrary, you're going to give options, more options for pilot training. The guy who doesn't want to work flying all the time has the option to work in agriculture, but agricultural aviation is very dangerous. No, but not at Rotor. Not with the R550, you will be outside the aircraft. You will operate the aircraft from outside the helicopter itself. So, there are many advantages that I see in this operation. Regarding drones, they can, as Hector said, they can be more efficient. Why? The drone's battery takes a while. It doesn't last long. The helicopters is very different. It's not a battery, it's fuel. It lasts much longer, has greater autonomy and a longer range. Anyway, I only see advantages in this operation. Soon it will be in Brazil. I believe that at AgriShow there will be representatives from Rotor there. If you're interested in learning about it, in finding out how the company works, how this machine works, when they're going to start in the market, I'm not sure if it's already there. It could already be on the market. Yeah, things happen really fast. But just being here showing it to you guys, I'm really satisfied. So follow along here on the channel. If you have any questions about Rotor, you have my Instagram, João's Instagram, which I'll leave here, and the company's own Instagram, and the company has big plans for Brazil, okay? Okay, another detail, you saw the simplicity of Hector, who is the founder of Rotor Technology. Simplicity, that's the word. Humility too. He stopped and came to talk. The whole week, he talks to everyone, all the employees. I would also like to thank all the employees here at Rotor Technology. They were super welcoming to me. Yeah, always very respectful. Some even want to learn how to speak Portuguese. We exchanged ideas there in English. They said they wanted to learn a little Portuguese. Anyway, it was really cool. Fantastic experience. I just have to thank God first for this opportunity. To my friend João Magione, to Hector, and to all the staff, all right? Guys, take care. I'm gonna stop here because it's already really cold. Look, I'll show you a bit of the snow. Look at this. It's freezing out here. And they will be at the fair at Verticon. Hello. Hello. They will be at the fair at Verticon here in the United States. I'll leave the date down here as well for anyone who's interested in going to check it out. If there are any Brazilians here in the area, go there. Say that you saw it here on my channel or on my Instagram. Tell them they'll make you feel very welcome, okay? In Brazil, as I said, there will probably be a representative at AgriShow 2025, okay? You saw it. I had a chat with Hector, who is the founder of Rotor Technology, and the co-founder and chief pilot, João Magione. And today, guys, they received the news that it was approved to operate commercially here in Brazil, okay? Fresh news, you're hearing it here on the Voando Comigo channel. So, this machine will soon be here in Brazil providing services for agriculture, for agribusiness, right? So soon you'll start seeing the R550 here in Brazil. And first, you saw it here on the Voando Comigo channel, and this is where I'll post a lot of news, everything about this machine. You'll have it here on the Voando Comigo channel, okay? Like I said, it's a new segment in aviation. It's an option for the pilot to fly it from outside the aircraft, right? He will be in the DCS, which is in a van, where there's the panel, the whole helicopter cockpit, the helicopter controls, and he flies it from outside the aircraft, right? It's considered a drone, okay? A giant drone. It's very precise, much faster, much more efficient than today's drones. In other words, it will revolutionize the market. So I really believe in this machine. And I'll always be posting some updates for you here about this helicopter, about this drone, anyway, about this amazing aircraft that I had the pleasure of seeing up close. All right? Take care, everyone. God bless. I'm out.